the arraignment is designed only to make a plea or possibly have a plea agreement if that's agreed to. But if you're here without an attorney, you will have the option to, and I'll be asking if you want an attorney, and you will have the option to accept an attorney on a provisional basis. You still have to file your financial affidavit and be approved, but I'll appoint the public defender provisionally and enter a not guilty on your behalf so that you don't give up any rights that you might have before talking to an attorney. I just want to kind of let everybody know, if they're here without an attorney, what am I doing? What's this all about? So you've been charged with a felony, which is why you're in this court. I'm sure you're aware of that. So just want to let you know preliminarily about that. So do we just want to start from the top? Okay. You want to skip the inmates? Yeah. Okay.
I just need to know the information. It is?
So Natalie, is it Belche? B-E-L-C-H-E? State?
I have no warrant.
State?
Your Honor, state's requesting KPS. I don't know if Mr. Medina has any information, and you know.
Mr. Medina's not on this case, to the best I know.
She has another case that Mr. Medina is attending to. I think it's on to, is it on to, or did we deal with her yesterday?
I have no idea what her next court date is. I would imagine it is, she's out of custody, so it would be, I just don't know now. I'm sorry.
Okay. Court will issue a KPS, no bond.
Thank you.
Carlos Bowden? How do you pronounce that name, sir? Bowden?
Yes, sir.
State, with the state announced, please. Just stand at the podium, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. This is 23 CF 45. And information has been filed. And just in case he wants to hear the state's offer, if he would plea as charged, the state would be asking for an adjudication. Would ask the court to impose credit for time served in the court cause, no supervision, no jail.
Did you understand that?
Quite.
Why don't we appoint you an attorney, and if you wish to have an attorney appointed,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to enter a not guilty plea. You can come back. If there's an offer on the table, it will still be out there.
Okay.
Okay. Your next court hearing will be on April 10th, pre-trial.
Your Honor, is the court provisionally appointing the public defender?
That is correct.
He would need to submit the application. Has he already done that?
I don't know if he's done that, but he needs
Okay.
to. But I appreciate you telling me. You got to file that, send it, give it to the clerk, and make sure you're approved.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ariel Bowles.
Your Honor, this is 22 CF 3175. The state's offer in this case includes 3 years of supervision and other special conditions. If Ms. Bowles wants to hear the rest of the offer, I'll be glad to tell her that, but.
Okay. Would the state approach?
Yes, sir.
Yes, but is there a way I can hear the rest of her offer?
Okay. Go slowly, counsel.
So, Your Honor, the state is requesting a plea as charged to the grand theft. We would ask for an adjudication, 3 years of probation, reserve, jurisdiction on restitution. The court costs, which are $615, 50 hours of community service, no trespassing at the Circle K, maintain gainful employment or complete 3 job applications per week, and the anti-theft course.
Ma'am, are you interested in that? Did you understand, first of all, did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was just trying to think, because
That's all right. I know this is important. Let me just say to you that the court was about ready to offer you a public defender. And
which would,
you could, assuming you qualify, which I'm assuming you do, you can go over this with your attorney. This is not going to be withdrawn until, it'll be open until the next hearing at the very least, if not. So you can, if you have some questions about it, you might want to consult with an attorney. I
just have actually just one question for her. Do you mind if I ask her?
No?
So you're offering me 3 years probation and then some classes and restitution and, of course, the court payments?
What's the classes?
The anti-theft course.
Okay, anti-theft.
I'll take it.
Okay. Are you going to, do you have this in writing?
I do not judge, but I can, if she wants to hang around, I do think I have some plea agreements.
Okay.
I can hang around.
Why don't you just hang around and we'll get this squared away. Okay. Bryce Boyette, Mr. Medina, I think it's one of yours.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Boyette here. I don't have any information, Your Honor.
I've got a VOP case, Mr. Boyette.
Your Honor, the state's requesting a habeas for failure to appear.
Court will grant the habeas, no bond. Robert Brewster. State.
Your Honor, the state's requesting a habeas.
Court will order a habeas with no bond.
I have Mr. Brewster's name.
Oh,
Mr. Robert Ingrid Brewster is the name.
is he in?
Yes.
He's here too.
Yes.
He's here, so we will pass on that and we'll come back and have we'll deal with that in a second, okay? Tazon Clark. Thank you. Did the state announce?
Your Honor, this is 22 CF 3148. He is charged with 1 count of possession of a controlled substance.
Okay. Mr. Clark, you do have a right to an attorney. With this new charge, you wish to have an attorney appointed, or you're going to hire private counsel?
Attorney appointed.
Court will appoint a public defender. Of course, this is only provisional. You got to fill out the financial affidavit, make sure you qualify.
Okay.
But I will enter a not guilty plea on your behalf so that you have a chance to meet with your attorney before taking any substantive action. We'll come back on a pretrial on April 10th, okay? Is he, who are we appointing? Do we know?
Well, that would be my part of the alphabet. I was basically going to assume he's Has he completed the public defender application?
I assume he has not. Have you?
I just filled it out in the back.
Okay.
Did you turn it into the clerk?
No, it hasn't been turned.
Okay, so turn it into the clerk, and then they'll confirm your eligibility for the public defender. I'll give you a card, but you need to get approved before I'll meet with you.
Okay,
Thank you, man.
thank you. But you got your comeback on 4/10, on April 10th, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Miranda Fair. State.
Your Honor, Miranda Fair is 22 CF 3146.
Correct. Not present.
State would ask for a capias.
Court will issue a capias without bond. Luis Figueroa. Sorry. Would the state announce?
Luis Figueroa, 23 CF 0049. The defendant is charged with written threats to kill or do bodily injury and stalking.
So, Mr. Figueroa, you do have a right to an attorney with these charges. Are you planning on hiring a private counsel, or you want to have a public defender appointed?
I would like to have one appointed, Your Honor.
Okay. The court's going to appoint the public defender, and as was mentioned prior, this is only provisional. You still have to fill out your form and get that approved. I will enter a not guilty plea in your behalf today, so you don't give up any of your rights. We'll come back at pre-trial on April 10th at 9 a.m. And if you get approved, the defense counsel will give you a card. You should meet up with them before you come back on 4/10. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Make sure to turn in the application on the first floor with the clerk before you leave.
Christopher Fleming. Mr. Gates, is he out working?
He's out working, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to pass over Mr. Fleming because Mr. Gates is talking with somebody right now. Just give us a second. We'll come back to you. Lauren Gagnor. State, would you announce, please?
Lauren Gagnor, 23 CF 24. Ms. Gagner is charged with 1 count of felony petty theft. The state's offer is credit for time served, an adjudication of guilt, and court costs in the amount of $515 PD fee if applicable.
What's the last thing?
PD fee if applicable.
EDC.
The public defender fee.
Did you understand all that, ma'am?
That means just, paperwork costs?
It would be an adjudication of guilt. So it would be on your record. You would get credit for time served. So you're not going to have to serve any more time. You're not going to be on probation. It's just credit for time served, and then you've got the court costs that are required.
Okay, I'll take it.
You'll take it? Okay. Counsel for the state, if you'll get me some type of a form. If you'll hang around a little bit, we'll come back and I'll have to ask you a few questions, okay? Okay. Donovan Grover. Oh, it's Mr. Gates. Hold on. Hang with us a little bit. Mr. Gates is talking with somebody. Edwin Grissom. State, would you announce? Mr. Grissom is coming forward.
Edwin Grissom, 23 CF 40. He is charged with 1 count of possession of marijuana over 20 grams and 1 count possession of drug paraphernalia. The state's offer is an adjudication to the lesser included offense of possession of marijuana under 20, 1129 probation, standard court costs
and public defender fee if applicable, substance abuse evaluation within 30 days, community service of 24 hours, dismiss count 2 POP.
Okay. I know you said that real fast. I caught most of it. I don't know if Mr. Grissom did.
I apologize, Your Honor.
Do you have any did you understand what she said?
Could you repeat it one more time?
Yeah. Slow it down just a little bit, counsel.
It would be a plea to the possession of marijuana under 20 grams, which would be a misdemeanor.
So they're downgrading the one charge from over 20, which is a felony, to under 20 grams, which is a misdemeanor. Go ahead.
Dismiss count 2, the misdemeanor paraphernalia charge. Probation for 11 months, 29 days, which is misdemeanor probation. Standard misdemeanor court costs. Substance abuse evaluation within 30 days and any recommended treatment within 60 with random UAs. 24 hours of community service and public defender fee if applicable.
Now, if you have any questions about this, the court will be, I would be asking you whether you wish to have an attorney. You can consult with your attorney before you accept this deal. So I don't want you to feel like you're being pressured that, this deal's going to go away if you don't accept it right now. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, do you wish to have an attorney appointed and come back and discuss it with your attorney? Are you interested in taking their deal today? What are you thinking?
I will appoint an attorney.
Okay. So the court will appoint the public defender. This will be appointed provisionally. You've got to fill it out, hand it in, and get approved by the clerk. The court will enter a not guilty plea. Okay, so you don't lose any of your rights. We'll come back, or you'll come back on April 10th at pretrial. But in the meantime, assuming you get approved, you need to get up with your attorney. He will give you a card so that you can talk to him about the potential deal.
Yes,
Okay?
sir.
May I ask who this is before the court so we make sure who he gets the right card?
Okay.
You're Grissom, right?
Grissom with a G.
That would be me, Your Honor.
Okay.
Call my office and make an appointment.
Which case?
The interpreter case, yes. What's the name? Andrade Lainez, with the interpreter, Your Honor.
Okay.
Miss Andrade Lainez, Sheila, 22 CF 3014 is before the court. Does the court need to swear in the interpreter, or is this going to be a not guilty plea?
Sure.
Do you agree to actively interpret from Spanish into English and English into Spanish, no matter what for the court?
I do.
Very good.
Your Honor, at this time, Miss Andrade Lainez will enter a plea of not guilty. She should be, or I would ask that she be put on the April 10 pretrial docket.
I did not have her on my docket.
I think what had happened was she had carried her plea day over today, Your Honor. The state has gone ahead and entered the information. I'm still hoping we will be able to negotiate a pretrial intervention in her case, but Ms. Basso hasn't offered it yet, but that may occur prior to April 10.
What's the case number?
22 CF 3014. The last name is Andrade, and then Laines, separate word. Starts on Andrade.
Andrade, I've got it. I got it.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I should have the docket number.
I thought you were pronouncing it began with an L as in Larry.
I tried a little bit too hard, maybe.
Okay. So we'll enter a not guilty plea. And the court will come back on pretrial date on April 10th and 9th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And in the meantime, you can meet with your attorney in order to discuss the case and possible, any kind of possible working out of plea.
Your Honor, she was very diligent, did meet with me, so we're just waiting to hear back from Ms. Basso about whether we can do PTI.
Very good. Do you have any questions, ma'am? Okay.
No, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
That is all I have, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very
sir.
much for your help.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. Michael Hagan. The state announced, please.
Michael Hagan, 22 CF 3156. He's currently charged with 1 count of felony petty theft and 1 count of resisting a retail merchant. The state's offer is to plead as charged, adjudication of guilt, 6 months county jail on both counts concurrent, restitution in the amount of $81.79, court costs in the amount of $515, no trespassing at Walmart,
Okay.
public defender fee if applicable.
Mr. Hagan, I would, unless you feel very strongly about this, because the offer is a jail sentence, I would suggest that you accept the appointment of an attorney or else hire your own private attorney. I'd like you to discuss with your attorney before you agree to any type of jail sentence.
Yes, sir.
Do you wish to have an attorney appointed, first of all? That's my first question.
Yes, sir.
The court will appoint the public defender. It'll be provisionally until you get your, till you fill out your financial form and get it approved. The court will enter a not guilty plea, and you can come back, or you need to come back for pretrial on 4/10, on April 10th. And the plea that was announced today, they'll keep it open until.
And just for the public defender's benefit, Mr. Hagan's benefit, the state is amenable to changing that offer of probation.
Okay? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Steve.
Oh, yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of
Okay,
people.
Harriet Hall.
That's represented by my office, Your Honor. Do we want to take her?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and go, just so the people in the gallery can.
You know, this is Ms. Hall before the court in 23 CF 5. We have a plea agreement to be filed in Ms. Hall's case. May I approach, Your Honor?
You may. Thank you. Thank you. Would you please announce the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Hall will be adjudicated guilty. She was placed on 3 years of probation concurrent to any other probation the defendant is currently serving. She's currently on state probation for similar charges. Defendant may apply for early termination after 2/3 of her probation. 515 court costs, 150 public defender fee. Required to do a substance abuse evaluation within 30 days. Any recommended treatment within 60 days. Random urinalysis. 24 hours community service work. Show proof of employment or 3 job applications per week. Some of the requirements will be concurrent, Your Honor, from the supervision she's currently on as well.
Is the state in agreement?
That is the state's agreement, Your Honor.
And based on the score sheet, is this a downward departure? I believe it is.
I don't believe she scores.
I believe she does. Unless I misread this. 14.175.
Your Honor, it looks like the state has included the DOP points. It's not a DOP.
Does this need to be corrected? Okay. That's all right. We just want to get it right. Yeah. Need you back in school. Yeah.
I will say, Your Honor, I can understand, because I think this case was originally entered in November, and then it just sat unfiled on. I think the clerk's office was waiting for the traffic tickets to be filed, and there were other cases going along at the same time.
Okay, so it does not score out?
No, Your Honor, my anticipation, Ms. Hall will probably score around 30-something points based
Okay.
upon the score sheet.
That's fine, so that's all I wanted to address, if there was a downward departure, so as long as you accept we'll get that squared away.
Yes, sir.
So, Ms. Hall, I need to ask you a few questions, so let me swear you in first. Do you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the information you're about to provide this court is the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
And the state's in agreement with this plea?
That is the state's agreement, Your Honor, and we will have these score sheets for court.
Okay. So you can put your hand down, ma'am. Ms. Hall, you heard your attorney state the terms of your plea agreement.
Yes, sir.
And I also see that those same terms are contained in the written plea agreement that your attorney has handed me. It's got your signature on the end of it.
Yes, sir.
Have you reviewed this closely with your attorney, made sure you had all your questions answered regarding this plea?
Yes, sir.
And you understand, after reading through this and talking with your attorney, that you're waiving some valuable legal rights to enter into this plea agreement, the right to go to a trial, contest witnesses. You understand all that? Do you believe it's in your best interest to enter into this plea?
Yes, sir.
Nobody threatened or coerced you?
No, sir.
Okay. You do it freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And you had all your legal questions answered?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Very good. Based upon that testimony, then the court will accept your plea, and the court will sentence you to 36 months probation with concurrent with any other probation you're currently serving. And of course, you can apply for early termination. There's a number of fees and court costs that must be paid during probation.
Yes, sir.
You must, importantly, submit a substance abuse evaluation within 30 days and then start any treatment in 60. It's important. You have UAs are going to be provided and 24 hours of community service work. And then we will waive the cost of supervision for probation. Okay, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
If you'll just wait right here, I need to say something.
Fine, got a warrant, tag them, and then.
Steve, let me call one quick.
What is it? With the state approach?
This short list is about 40
Yes.
Right there. Right there.
Your Honor, this is Mr. Fleming before the court. I had an occasion to speak with him in the state. At this time, we're going to ask the court to enter a not guilty plea. He's already been scheduled for April the 10th.
Okay. Court will enter a not guilty plea, and we'll come back for pretrial on April 10th at 9 a.m.
Thank you,
Okay?
Your Honor.
Thank you.
No, this is Christopher Fleming.
Fleming, 23 CF 125. Number 18. Cameron Haynes. Would the state announce?
Yes, Your Honor. This is 22 CF 3159. He presently has no attorney. He is charged in this case with exploitation of the elderly. I know an information has been filed. Mr. Medina represents him on a case, which is...
No, it's not Mr. Medina, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Mr. Harper. Thank you, Mr. Haynes, I'm
Yeah, I
so
was
sorry.
gonna say, I thought it was
Mr.
Mr.
Harper
Harper.
represents him on a case which which is intertwined with this one, so my suggestion would be for Mr. Harper to be appointed to this case as well.
Okay. So do you wish to have an attorney appointed here today?
Yes, sir, and I did actually put in the public defender's application yesterday.
Okay, so we'll appoint the Office of Regional Conflict Counsel as Mr. Harper is here. And unless you wish to take any other steps, I'll enter a not guilty plea and we can come back, or unless, I don't know if you've had interaction on it.
For paper trail reasons, to the court, appoint the public defender's office and then let us withdraw, just to make sure we get that right. My supervisor's been kind of adamant about those things.
Whatever we can do to assuage your supervisor.
Judge, I would request that as well. I think it's a,
What's that?
I should have the PD is already on the case.
Then we'll look to withdraw as soon as we can, Your Honor. The court knows my supervisor, Mr. Russell. We'll try to get it as soon as we can.
So you'll enter a substitution for Mr. Harper? And what I'll do is here today is just take the defendant's plea of not guilty.
Yes.
Doesn't preserve all your rights, and we'll come back on our pretrial. The only thing I would ask is when you get notice that Mr. Harper has been appointed, assuming he is, which he probably will be, you need to make an appointment. Be sure to stay in contact with him.
Yes, Your Honor. My anticipation is it looks like Miss Natalie Belch is intertwined, which is probably going to be a conflict, because I think Mr. Medina has Miss Belch, correct?
Yes.
In one case, or one or two cases.
My anticipation is we will. And I want to, just for the record, is it he or she? Because I want to make sure I use the right.
My pronouns are he, him.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure, Your Honor. Coming back next week for docket day, if the court's inclined, we could do that with this, and then I will make every effort to get the approval for the withdrawal, so that next week Mr. Harper can go ahead and get appointed.
So you want to just continue this docket day? Well, not docket day.
If we can continue the arraignment until next Monday, that'll give me time to get that paperwork. If we're coming on Monday, Your Honor, instead of having to come back twice.
He's coming back Monday already?
yes, Judge. On my case, he's set for 220.
So we'll do that. We'll continue this case, 22 CF 3159, till Monday, the 20th. Continue to 220.
We're anticipating a
At 9 a.m.
resolution as to both of our cases,
I'm
Judge.
sorry?
We're anticipating a resolution as to both of these cases at that time.
Very good.
And I will send an email out as soon as I can, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Appreciate it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, Michael Henniger. Michael Henniger. State?
I'm sorry, Judge, what was the name?
Henniger, 22 CF 3150. Mr. Gates' case. You know where your client is, Mr. Gates?
Who would that be, Your Honor?
Henniger?
Unique situation, Your Honor. This is actually Ms. Basso. I'm pretty sure he's probably in Tennessee on some charges. The first appearance paperwork does reference a, if I can say, it is a wanted in Knox County. There's no extradition, but it's my conversation with Ms. Basso. It seemed to indicate that he has some issue up there where he may be in custody. In an abundance of caution, corporate law, I'd like to enter not guilty and give me time to make sure on that because he was a registered sex offender in Tennessee and came down here.
Your Honor, I think Ms. Basso was anticipating that. She let us know, she asked us to cover this afternoon for her, said to let the court know that the information had been filed, the discovery has been sent, and the offer that the state is going to be offering is a DOC offer. So Ms. Basso was anticipating a plea of not guilty, I believe.
Okay. We'll allow the defense counsel to enter a not guilty plea. You want to just come back on pretrial?
Yeah, sure. If we can do, I'll say April the 10th, because I don't know, not in custody here, but out of custody in other states.
Well, if it switches, we can move it to
Yes, sir.
12. That's not a problem.
I mean, the one that I've got right here in my file. I'll take
Gates
it.
is eyes ahead of the game. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, Todd Hunt. State, would you announce?
Your Honor, I believe that case was transferred to misdemeanor, but let me double check real quick if you don't mind indulging me.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a Carl and a Todd, Your Honor, so.
I just have a Todd on today's docket. Clerk's not picking up a transfer at this time. Is it anticipated that it will be transferred from the state?
Yes, Your Honor, it should have been transferred a couple weeks ago. I did the transfer.
What should we do here today?
I would suggest we just enter a not guilty, but I do anticipate this case will go to misdemeanor court and be a misdemeanor.
Okay, so you'll let them appoint in misdemeanor court and not appoint an attorney, just enter not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So we're going to enter a not guilty plea, and the reason why we're doing that is we're just basically preserving your rights. You don't lose anything by entering a not guilty. It'll go down to misdemeanor court. They have different PDs down there, and so they'll be able to. So, but for right now, I'm just going to, just for a kind of to make sure we have a date, that you have something to come back to, we're going to go ahead and schedule this for a regular pretrial on April 10th, but you're almost certainly will be receiving notice to go somewhere else before that.
Okay.
But if you don't hear anything, come back here on 410. You
Okay.
raise your hand and say, we're supposed to go down to the misdemeanor.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I'm checking on that right now, Your Honor, to find out why that wasn't done already.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ibera FISO. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, this is Fabiano Ibarra Fiso. Apologies if I mispronounced. Case 23 CF 104. The charge is DV battery by strangulation. Your Honor, the state is not prepared to make an offer to Mr. Fiso at this time.
So, Mr. Fiso, you do have a right. You understand English? You good?
Yes, yeah.
Do you have a right to have an attorney appointed? Do you wish to have an attorney appointed, or are you going to hire private counsel?
Yes, I wish to have an attorney appointed.
Okay, so I'm going to appoint the public defender, but it's going to be provisionally, so you're going to have to file an application, but we'll enter a not guilty plea, and you'll have to come back to your pretrial on 410.
Okay, understood.
Okay?
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sir, we got a warrant for your arrest for
Okay, okay, I'll make a note.
I'll say the case order.
Is there a bond on that?
No bond. Not on bond.
Justin Jensen.
Your Honor, Mr. Jensen's going to be with me.
Mr. Gates, I think this is yours.
Yes, Your Honor. I spoke to Mr. Jensen this morning. I don't have discovery or an offer yet in Mr. Jensen's case.
Apologies, and Mr. Gates actually informed me that a week ago, and I thought that was resolved. I apologize, I'll make sure that it's done today.
And I'll be honest, I was in jail all day Friday. We were here yesterday, so the state could have. It could be sitting in my nice
That's
little
all right.
box.
We're all working as hard as we can.
Based at this time, if the state's filed information, which looks like they have, we'll enter a not guilty plea on Mr. Jensen's case and ask the court to leave it set for April 10th.
Very good. And if you get some resolution prior to that time, you want to come back, you can get it on one of the miscellaneous documents.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so we'll come back on April 10th at 9 a.m. and enter a not guilty plea at this point. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Chastity Jones. With the state announcement.
Your Honor, Chastity Jones, case 23 CF 57. The charge is trespassing in an occupied structure and resisting an officer with violence. State's offer for Ms. Jones is an adjudication of guilt to a lesser included misdemeanor of resisting an officer without violence, 1 year of probation, and other terms and conditions associated with probation.
What about count one?
That's as to, well,
Would be as charged?
It would be police charge, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Ms. Jones, you heard that. I would, sometimes it's hard to assess these things, without the benefit of an attorney. You do have a right to have an attorney appointed. As I said to you before, I would normally ask you if you want to have an attorney and enter not guilty, so you have a chance to talk to your attorney, but the state has a right to make their offer and, maybe one you wish to consider. So do you wish to have, what do you want to do here today? You want to have an attorney appointed?
Yes,
Or are you
sir.
interested in Mr. Rogers saying it again slowly so you understand what he's offering you? And
I'd like to have an attorney appointed to me, please.
so the court will appoint a public defender. That'll be provisionally, so you got to file your financial affidavit, make sure you apply. And the court will enter a not guilty plea on your behalf that preserves all of your rights.
Okay.
And we'll come back on pretrial on April 10th, 9 a.m.
9.
In the interim, make sure to meet with your attorney, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Kenneth Jorgensen. State.
Your Honor, Kenneth Jorgensen, case 23 CF 46. The charges are possession of controlled substance and possession of paraphernalia. State's offer for Mr. Jorgensen is a withhold, plea is charged a withhold of adjudication, 2 years of probation, 24 community service hours, substance abuse evaluation, and any treatment recommended.
Okay. So, Mr. Jorgensen, as I mentioned to you, I know it's a little tricky when you're getting offers from the state and you not fully understand all the ramifications of that. You do have a right to have an attorney appointed. If you wish to, accept the state's offer, you're welcome to do that. I'm certainly not pushing you to do that.
No, I plead not guilty.
Okay. So, do you wish to have an attorney appointed? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So the court will appoint the public defender. You've heard me say this a number of times. It's provisionally, you got to file your financial affidavit. The court will enter a not guilty plea. That'll preserve your rights. Come back on pretrial on 4/10. In the interim, make sure and communicate with your attorney. That's the only thing I ask, okay? 4/10 and 9 a.m.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. That's all the non-inmates.
Your Honor, There were a couple on my list that I wasn't here for.
Okay,
Can I
now
ask?
let's go back over them, okay.
Miranda Fair. Miranda Fair. I have 22 CF 3146.
She was not here earlier. She was issued a capias. What's that?
I called.
Okay. Go ahead and announce the case, Mr. Gates.
Yes, Your Honor. It's
Well, there's no attorney.
no attorney. 22 CF 3146. I'll let the state announce.
Go ahead.
22 CF 3146 Miranda Fair. She's charged with 1 count of accessory after the fact to a felony and 1 count of resisting officer without violence. As of right now, the state's offer is to plea as charged with a withhold of adjudication, 3 years of probation, standard court costs in the amount of $515, substance abuse evaluation within 30 days and any recommended treatment within 60 days, no contact with the victim, no trespassing at the victim's residence or place of employment, public defender fee of $150 if applicable.
Ma'am, I know that's a lot of stuff. You do have a right to consider the plea offer, but what I would normally be doing is offering you a public defender, give you a chance to meet with the public defender before you have to accept any plea or determine how to proceed with the case. What do you want to do here today? You want to consider the plea offer, kind of go over it again more slowly? You want me to appoint the public defender and enter a not guilty plea?
Could I do the, public defender not guilty?
Court will enter a not guilty plea and appoint the public defender. We'll come back for pretrial on 410.
Yes, Your Honor. And
We'll withdraw the cases.
just for the record, my expectation is we will be withdrawing from Ms. Fair's case once we get the paperwork. She's the co-defendant with Chase Geary, who I pled out this morning.
Okay.
In here?
Here's my card, ma'am.
About a week before you get his card. All right.
So, are we ready on Lauren Gagnon?
Christopher Garland and Donovan Glover.
Out of custody?
Mr. Glover's
Garland in custody.
Mr. Garland's in custody, and Mr. Glover is with me. And then I had Louis Figueroa and Lauren Gagnor.
So Glover is yours?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Is Donovan Glover here?
Yes, Your Honor. That should be. Mr. Garland's not. Mr. Glover is, and I can take him. He's coming up right now.
Mr. Garland is supposed to,
He should be in custody.
but he's not on. Can we stop? Is he in jail? Did we miss that? He's listed as an inmate on the docket.
He's not on the transport list.
No, I know, but
So we didn't name him.
I don't know if is he over there. We just need to figure out if he's in there. We can.
He's in jail.
I mean, if he's in, can we figure out if he's in jail? We'll just pass him over. We'll get him back.
Also, Your Honor, when Mr. Gates is done with this client, I have a signed plea agreement from Ms. Bowles if the court wants to see her before we see the inmates.
Trying.
So would the state go ahead and announce on this case? This is Glover, 23 CF 121, carry of concealed firearm.
Thank you, Your Honor. 23 CF 121, Donovan Edward Glover. He's charged with 1 count of carrying a concealed firearm. The state's offer right now.
Your Honor, I made Mr. Glover aware of the offer before we got up here. It is a withholding probation. I'd like to go over the case with a little more detail with him because it is a firearm case.
Very good.
If we give her a not guilty today and leave it set for April the 10th.
Very good. Court will enter not guilty and we'll come back on pretrial on 410.
And in the meantime, Your Honor, Mr. Garland's actually out of custody and present in court.
Okay? Very good.
Make it fun.
Mr. Garland, you want to come forward? Is that your case? No. Do you have that listed?
No, Your Honor, he's unrepresented.
Would the state announce?
Yes, Your Honor. Christopher William Garland, 23 CF 220. Mr. Garland's charged with 1 count of burglary of unoccupied conveyance, 1 count of possession of controlled substance, and 1 count of petty theft. The state's offer today is to plea as charged, withhold of adjudication, 3 years probation, restitution in the amount of $200, court costs in the amount of $515, public defender fee if applicable, substance abuse evaluation within 30 days, treatment within 60 days, 50 community service hours, no contact with the victim, $104.65 cost of investigation to the Niceville Police Department, maintain gainful employment or complete 3 applications per week, and an anti-theft class as conditions of probation.
Okay. So, Mr. Garland?
Yes,
I'm going to ask you if you wish to have an attorney appointed. There's a lot of detail there. I'm a little concerned, making sure you understand all that. That offer is going to still be on the table. But if you wish to have an attorney, we can enter a not guilty plea here today. You can meet with your attorney, make sure you understand what all's going on. If you possibly wish to accept the plea, or if you don't want to accept the plea. How do you want to proceed today? You want an attorney? And
yes, sir, I'd like an attorney.
okay, so the court will appoint the public defender. It's provisional, you heard me say. You got to fill out the application, fill it in, send it downstairs. Court will enter a not guilty plea. You've got to come back for pretrial on 4/10. Okay? Meet up with your attorney in the interim and go over this plea agreement. It will not be taken off the table until we have another hearing. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any questions?
You said April 10th?
April 10th.
Yes, sir. That's it.
9 a.m.
Oh, right there. Yes, I do. Thank you.
And Mr. Gates will be your attorney. He'll give you your card right there. He's handing it to you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. We'll do it.
May I approach with a score sheet for Harriet Hall?
Sure.
No objection, as it pertains provided which is last name.
Okay. Ms. Sharpless, are you ready on a couple of pleas that you had? Is that all of yours out of custody, Mr. Gates?
The only other ones were they're unrepresented were Louis Figaro and Lauren Gagnor. I was again out of the courtroom, so I don't know what happened to those.
Yeah, Gagnon is a plea, I think.
Could be with Miss Sandler.
And Figaro we've already done.
I haven't seen
We
Ms.
appointed the
Gagner
public
in-
defender. What's that?
I haven't seen Ms. Gagner in the courtroom anymore, but I did give her a copy of the plea agreement.
I'll give Madam Clerk at the break and she'll fill me out on what happened.
So she was going to come, we were going to enter a plea and they were filling out the forms. We didn't do anything with her. So I have to tell her to come back. Are we sure she's left the building? Do we know?
She's not out in the hallway, Your Honor.
See what Gagnon was Gagnon. Mm-hmm.
Is that her?
Nope.
This may, yes, sir.
That's
Walk
Ms.
in.
Bowles.
Oh,
That's Ms.
It's
Bowles.
not the same person? Okay, sorry.
Maybe she thought she was done when she got here.
So did you hand her you gave her the plea agreement?
I did, sir. I don't know if she had a misunderstanding that she was free to leave, but the court did tell her to stay.
Wanted to make it over. That's not my case. Who's this? It's not unrepresented. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to provisionally appoint the public defender. Because I want somebody who can try and reach out or somewhere to contact. And then we'll continue this case. Or what's our next plea date? February 21st? We'll continue this to February 21st.
Your Honor, may I ask, what was Miss Gagner's first name and spelling of the last and case number?
I have it, Steve. It'll be my case. I have
Oh,
it.
it's your case. Your Honor. Thank you. Sorry, Your Honor.
That was, it's not my case, I just have it.
Thank you, Travis.
23 CF 24.
Just hand that back to the clerk for next week.
Okay. So, do you have any other of your pleas ready that we?
Yes, Your Honor, Ms. Bowles, I have a plea form for Ms. Bowles, and I know she just walked back in the courtroom, so.
Ms. Bowles, would you come forward?
So,
Do you have an agreement?
I do, Your Honor, and I also have the score sheet, and I'm going to show that to Ms. Bowles really quick. So this is the score sheet. Even our score for prison. However, if you get a violation of either 6 or 12 more points, and that's going to push you up towards being prison for this one. Can I approach it this way?
Sure.
Ms. Bowles did the very last and sign it.
Okay. So, Ms. Bowles, let me just swear you in and ask you just a few questions. You swear or affirm the information you're about to provide this court is the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir. I said yes, sir.
So, I see you've signed the plea and sentencing agreement that sets forth the terms of the plea agreement that was discussed and offered by the state earlier. 3 years probation, obviously, is the core of it. There's a lot of other community service hours, no trespassing, maintain gainful employment, etc. One of these that I just want to point out, the reserved jurisdiction on restitution. Do you understand what that is?
I do not.
Okay, so what that means is that there's a possibility that because of the charge, grand theft, that the victim may seek restitution of some sort. Don't know what's involved. So the technical term is we're reserving it. We're not going to deal with that today. If they seek restitution, you can argue about it. They come in and say, you know, she needs to give us back $1,000. Say, well, the item was only $50. No, really, that's what you do. So we're reserving jurisdiction, but I just want you to know that that's out there, okay? And I want to make sure you understand that. So you understand by entering this plea agreement here today that you're waiving the right to go to a trial. This is the final adjudication of your case.
Yes, sir.
You comfortable with that? Have
Yes,
you read this plea agreement? You feel comfortable? I know you're not a lawyer, but do you have any questions regarding this?
No, sir.
Okay. Very good. Based upon that testimony, the court will accept your plea and will sentence you to the 3 years of probation. The court costs and community service hours, all those things you need to get together with your probation officer as soon as possible in order to go over this. She'll walk through a lot of the details on this as well. Okay? Stay in good contact with your probation officer.
When I was speaking with Ms. Bowles, Your Honor, I think it's important to note that I did tell her, and I think the plea form lays out that she is giving up the right to a trial in this matter, that she has not requested the discovery from me, so she has not seen any of that, and she said she understood that and she still wanted to do this deal today. And I told her that I would ask Officer Mathis, does she need to meet with you now, or does she need to go to the probation office and check in this afternoon? Okay. What time does she need to be there by? Immediately. Okay. So she needs to go immediately to the Kelly Avenue location, and check in with probation.
And you get her paper.
And Deputy Vi needs to get her fingerprints.
May I have the conditions repeated though? So it's an anti-theft course or probation? Oh, I have the plea.
Oh, yes.
Mr. Berg is here.
We have somebody from this morning that there was a capias issued on Mr. Berg. Whose case is that, do you know?
That would be Mr. Morrow's case, Your Honor.
Mr. Morrow, you're one of your clients, Mr. Berg is here. You want to bring him up? Do you have a case number?
Brian Moore for Mr. Berg, Your Honor.
Okay.
This is my first meeting with Mr. Berg. I'd ask that this be set on next week's docket if you wouldn't mind, Your Honor.
Why don't we go ahead and do this? Why don't we go ahead and enter a denial? This is a violation of probation. First time up, we'll come back on February 21st at 9 a.m. without subpoenas. In the meantime, you need to get together and figure out kind of where everything's at and figure out whether you're going to a trial or if there's potential for a resolution of this matter, okay?
Thank you.
And make sure you get here in the morning, because there was a capias issued against you to have somebody pick you up. Okay, so figure out where you're supposed to be, and, you know, we got enough people in the jail, we don't need another one. Okay?
They give it in writing. I was here last time, they told me to come yesterday.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry.
This on next Tuesday? February 21st is next Tuesday.
Yeah, maybe we should go out.
Why don't we go to March?
Why don't we say March 14th? March 14th at 9. Thank you.
They're going to clear all the we'll get kind of back this month first.
Which one? Okay.
He knows, Kyle knows my number by heart.
Okay, well.
But take,
Okay. So we'll start off with Bravin Gamble.
That's going to be our scene. Is there anybody else in the courtroom?
Mr. Gates?
Here today, or-
yeah, sure, I know TJ keeps saying RC, but there's a step or two before we get there.
Jason, you announce, please.
Yes, Your Honor, it's a kind of unique situation. Mr. Gamble is here in